Kelvin, just the matchup with Western Kentucky on Thursday. What do you like about adding them to the schedule? And this looks like a pretty good basketball team that presents some challenges.
Yeah. As you see around college basketball, everybody wants to talk about upsets. There's anytime you go on the road. I was watching some of Oklahoma and Kansas State last night. I don't know what constitutes an upset. One team's has a good record, another team's bad. Well, that automatically is a given that you're going to win. That's not the way it works. You're dealing with a lot of factors. You got to play good, and if you don't, you can lose. The other team plays better than you, they can win. Sometimes it's as simple as that. But the Western Kentucky team, I like it for us because they're good. Anytime you play against a team that's got the best player, every time they walk on the floor, they're always going to have the best player on the floor. Bassey, he will be the best player on the floor, and that's not a slight to any of my kids. Bassey's just a monster. We haven't. Last time we played against a center as dominant as him, I would think it would have been Weston from Ohio State. And Weston's not as good as Bassey because Bassey's more athletic and longer. Veteran team, Hollingsworth, explosive. Anderson is as athletic as anybody we play. Heady, smart, solid point guard in McKnight. Williams is an X factor. Anytime you have a three-point shooting four, it's going to challenge your system because now you're if you do want to double team the post, they move him around, which makes it a little trickier because you're coming from different areas. The teams that play the four-man in one spot all the time, it's a little bit easier. But Williams is three-point shooter, passer, tough. And then coming off the bench, when they beat Alabama, the starting point guard was Cooper. Now he comes off the bench. He played good in that game. But, there's just a really good team. What conference you're in doesn't matter. If you're good, you're good. It's like we've beaten Oregon, Arkansas, Ohio State. Didn't matter what league. Our team was better than those teams that night. Western Kentucky would probably finish in the top 2 or 3 in most conferences just because of Bassey and how good their team is. And then they're coached by a veteran that knows exactly what he's doing. He's put his team together well. I've always thought that Rick was an outstanding coach.
We'll go to Mark Berman with 526. Mark, go ahead. Mark, I can't hear you, sir.
There we go. Kelvin, you've talked a bunch of late about the schedule and trying to make it all work. How important is it to have a game against a quality opponent at this stage?
I don't know. I have no idea how important it is. We're number 6 in the net, so obviously we don't need a game. I just want to play a good team. If we beat them, that'd be great. If we lose to them, okay, we didn't play good enough. There's nothing to go jump in the river about. We chose them. We asked them. We've been talking to them. We almost played them a couple of weeks ago, I think. But Tavion's played basically one game. At Wichita, I think he only played 4 minutes. But it's good that he got some games the other day. And we played. The games are so sporadic. We played. Seemed like forever since we played South Florida. But we play South Florida. I don't have my calendar. My guys are so much smarter than I am. They know this stuff off the top of their head, whereas I don't. I think we played South Florida on the 11th. Then we didn't play again until the 18th. So that's 7 days in between games. Then we played Cincinnati Sunday, and we weren't supposed to play again till the following Sunday, the 28th. So you're playing once a week in February. So the importance of this game has nothing to do with anything but they're good, we're good. They wanted to play, we wanted to play. It's so much better than not playing a game this time of year. Everybody in every conference this time of year, you're gearing up for tournament play, whether it's conference tournament or NCAA tournament, and you're used to your routine. You know, there's a routine, there's a rhythm about this month of January and February. You're playing. If you have a Wednesday, Saturday, it's so much better than Thursday, Sunday, because now you can build in days off, which your team desperately needs. But when you're playing Thursday and not playing again till the next Thursday, or Thursday and not again till the following Sunday, I just don't know how you play, how you stay sharp. You know, you this time of year, practices, you always get something out of practice, but games are more important. You know, we've still got some freshmen that we're trying to get settled into a role. This has been a tough year. It really has, especially for young kids, because young kids aren't used to practicing 16 days and playing 2 out of 16 days. You're off. You got 2 games in 16 days. And that's what a lot of people has done. You think about it, we had a stretch this year where we played 5 out of 6 games on the road. 5 out of 6 games on the road. I'm not counting the NAIA school because our starters didn't play in that game. And then and this is all because of COVID. Then we had a stretch where we played at Central Florida, at Tulsa, and at SMU coming out of COVID. So the way COVID has really been the story in college basketball. Story in college football. Look at our football team. What do we have? 5 games canceled or postponed before they even played one, right? So it's just been a crazy year for athletics. But it's such a blessing just to be able to play. You know, just to be able to have a game. But you know, playing South Florida and then not playing again until the following Thursday. And then Cincinnati game got plugged in. You know, we're always rescheduling. And then when I said, okay, what do we know we can play this week? And the only thing for sure was South Florida on Sunday. And that's, you know, we're all a test away from not playing that one. But we knew potentially we were going to play South Florida on Sunday. And then, so you go Thursday, Sunday, to the following Sunday. Now you're off 7 more days. That just didn't, just, if we could do something about it, we could. So we have, we know for sure right now, we're going to play Western Kentucky on Thursday, tomorrow, and we'll play USF at home on Sunday. And after that, I have no idea. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know what our schedule is.
We'll go to Joseph Duarte, Chronicle. Joseph, go ahead, sir.
Coach, along those lines, I was going to ask you, at this point, with so many schools not going to have the same number of games, is there any type of equitable solution to make this fair for deciding whether it's tournaments, you know, conference tournament seedings, who wins the league, you know, that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I mean, right now our record in the league is 12-3. So we played 15 games. We've got USF on Sunday, so that's a 16th game. I'm assuming we're going to play a conference game the next week, at least one, you would think. So that puts us at 17, and you add a 20. You know, some of these teams, no fault of their own, may only get to 13. So how do you judge a team that's played 13 games against a team that's played 17, and your record is basically the same if that happens? That's a big if, you know. we certainly can lose to USF at home, and we can lose to whoever we plays next. You can always lose. You watch the games. I don't think the media is ever shocked at somebody losing, but you shock other people into thinking it's a shock when somebody loses. So sometimes you drive the narrative, but you know that there's no upsets about college basketball. I mean, we're still a few years removed from UMBC beating Virginia 16-1. You knew that was going to happen. It's just going to happen. So, but in as far as conference equity, it might be because of COVID. Don't know what the rule book says, but I think with COVID, all that stuff's out the window. Sometimes, the commissioner might just say, you know what? We've got a team that's played 17 or 18 games and a team that's played 12 or 13 games, and the record's basically the same. Maybe we just have co-champions. I don't know. But that's the least of my worries right now. I haven't even thought of that. I'm trying to figure out when our games are.
We'll go to Chris Gardner. Hey, Chris, go ahead.
Coach, with the, short notice for WKU game, how did you handle, or who handles the scout and prep for it? And where do you get the information for an opponent out of conference?
Same way you do the NCAA tournament. This is 2021. Everybody's on TV. So it's not hard to get information at all. Every game we play is on TV. Every game. We don't play a game that's not televised. You have XOs, you have Synergy. You can go pull up any game anybody plays in a minute. And then in another minute, you can have it broken down from offense to defense. It's not difficult to get information on teams, just like we'll find out, you're waiting for your opponent to pop up on the brackets for the NCAA tournament. As soon as that name pops up, within 5 minutes, we've already got a scout report almost, at least the personnel, big picture done within 5 minutes. That's how you do it. Synergy, TV, ESPN Plus, CBS Sports, everybody's on TV now, everybody.
And how much of a change?
There was anybody say, well, you can tell the recruit, if you come here, we're going to be on TV this amount of time. Nobody uses that anymore. Being on TV is no big deal anymore. Every game's televised.
And how much of a technology advantage change has that been since you started coaching to get that rapidly?
Well, I go back to my standard response. When I started coaching, there was no cell phone. So you're asking the wrong one. There was no computers. Dude, I'm 65. You should ask Kelvin. Kelvin, there's been a lot of changes just since he started coaching. So the changes that made when I started coaching. I wasn't around when Noah was building the ark, but I was, with the cam, with the string, I was right there. I heard about it. My first year as a head coach in the NCAA tournament, I think was 1993. I think I've been to, I don't know how many I've been to. I've lost count. But that night, you get all the information you need. Back then, I think you had to call. We'd call a lot of coaches and just get the Underground Railroad going. Now, it's just easy. It has been for a long time. I mean, I'd say 10 years. You just, who do you play the first round? Boom. We're playing Houston. So within 10 minutes, you're on, you log in, Houston basketball, schedule, roster, stats, their last 5 games, boom, you got all that within minutes. So we did the same thing in Western Kentucky, and they did the same thing with us. Their opportunity to get information on us is no different than ours on them.
We'll go back to Mark Garner. Mark, go ahead, sir.
Kelvin, Rick Stansbury says that you've won everywhere you've been, and what you've done at University of Houston, you're now on par to compete with anybody in the country year in and year out. What does that mean to you coming from Rick?
I don't know. Appreciate it. No, I don't know how to respond to that. I mean, say the same thing about him. You know, he's won at Mississippi State. He's won at Western Kentucky. I remember when they signed Bassey. Everybody was trying to get Bassey. I watched Bassey the same tournament. I saw him play against Nate's AAU team and Jaden Gardner from East Carolina. Nate and Gardner were on the same AAU team. I remember watching them play against Bassey. We dabbed at him a little bit, but we realized we had no chance. I don't recruit kids we can't get. But when I saw that he's going to Western Kentucky, that raised your eyebrows, because you knew how good a coach Rick was, and that just elevated Western Kentucky, because you knew that's they're going to get other players that want to come play with him. And Rick is a program builder. He knows how to build a program. He's always been pretty good at that.
We'll go back to Joseph Duarte. Joseph, go ahead, sir.
Kelvin, factored in the human element on it. With Justin lately, I guess you factor in also Fabian's come in and played some. Is there anything at this point of year with rebounding? I mean, it seems like his rebounds opportunities, sort of gone down number wise. I didn't know if it was a combination of things, or it's just when you.
Who are you talking about?
Gorham. Just when you look at it, I guess it's hard to keep up that pace that he was on. But has there been anything lately?
It would be if he was playing 35 minutes a night, it would be easy to keep that pace. He would keep that pace. The only reason the pace come down is because it's hard to get a rebound if you're sitting on the bench. There's nothing. We out rebounded Cincinnati 47-31. I don't even know how many rebounds Justin got. But the most important thing is we out-rebound them 47-31, not how many rebounds Justin got. You're focused on something that's not important. What's most important is 47-31. Justin might have had 16 in that game if Fabian hadn't played. Fabian had 9. Justin had, how many did he have? 5 or 6, 6 or 7?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah, something like that. So, nothing there. We out-rebounded them 47. And Fabian's taken some of his minutes because in that game, for instance, the game was over. So not over, but, we stretched the lead out pretty quickly and said, okay, sat Justin down. We haven't forgot about Justin. We got to figure out how to play Justin and Fabian together more. But that's also the reason why you plug these games in. I don't know what the schedule is. I don't know what the schedule is next week right now. We may wind up plugging somebody else in next week if we can, so, but we'll see, I'll figure out what's best for us and move ahead and do it.
Kelvin, off topic, from your career where sometimes you go to these pro-ams and stuff, did you ever have any interaction with Tiger Woods?
Yeah, he came to Douglas High School in Oklahoma City, and his father was with him. And I think it was a father-son deal. And Joe Castiglione, our AD, called me and said, hey, Tiger's Foundation and his dad, what's Tiger's dad's name?
Earl.
Earl and Tiger were doing, I want to say it was around Father's Day. I don't remember. But it was at Douglas High School, which is an inner city high school in Oklahoma City. So I took Kellen. It was Kellen and I, and Joe and his son, Joe Jr. And Kellen. But the 4 of us went, and Tiger couldn't be more gracious. Man, he was a basketball fan. I remember playing golf one time with Johnny Unitas, and it was amazing how, I was in awe of Johnny Unitas, and we rode on a golf cart together, and he knew Hollis Price, he knew Aaron McGee, he had watched this game. I mean, just peppered me with questions about our team. And when Tiger and I introduced ourselves to each other. Same thing. He was a big college. You'd be surprised. These guys know college basketball. I was checking into a hotel in Vegas for a tournament. Elise Trevino came up to me and said, "I'm a big fan. Follow your team." These guys are all like that. They're big college basketball, especially. They all know who the teams are in March. That's for sure. Tiger was a big college basketball fan. Loves Stanford. So that was the only interaction. I've when I was in the NBA and we'd be playing the Orlando Magic, it seems like Arnold Palmer's Bay Hill Classic tournament was going on at the same time. And a friend of mine named Jason Stout, I think 2 or 3 times we had an off day in Orlando and we would get passes and we would go out and watch the tournament. And I'd find out where Tiger, if he was playing, I for sure went because I would be among the throng of people following him around. It's hard to see him. Sometimes I could only see the ball, but I knew that was Tiger that hit it.